Today we're going to talk about order of operations. Now, to start, I'm going to put up a problem. Oops, you don't need to see that. Let's look at 2 plus 3 times 5. Now, there are 2 ways we can go about solving this. The first way is we can add first. If we add first, then we work on the 2 plus 5, which gives us 5 times 5, which equals 25. Now, on the second one here, I'm going to multiply first. So I'm going to do 3 times 5, which is 15. 2 plus 15 is 17. So, which one's right? The 25 or the 17? Well, in order to not have so much confusion, someone much smarter and a long time ago came up with what is called the order of operations. The order in which we do operations when there's more than one operation. As in the 2 cases here. We have addition and multiplication. So, the order in which we are to do these operations, we call them the order of operations. You've probably heard this before. You probably heard it as PEMDAS, but we're going to go away from PEMDAS because we are in middle school now and we can talk about more adult things and become more adult mathematicians. So, order of operations. We're not going to talk about PEMDAS. First thing you need to know about order of operations. 1, we're always going to work in our grouping symbols. So step 1 is to work in grouping symbols. Oops. Grouping symbols. Now, what are grouping symbols? Those are our parentheses, our brackets, ellipses, and the fraction bar. Parentheses, brackets, ellipses, or curly brackets, and the fraction bar, which you know is the bar that separates the numerator and the denominator. Step 2 is to work with our simplifying our exponents. Step 3 is going to be multiplying and dividing. This happens at the same time. And we work from left to right, like we read. From left to right. And the last step, step 4, is addition and subtraction. Again, done at the same time, working from left to right. So I hope you've copied all this down. If you need to, pause the video at this point in time, copy the order of operations down into your notes. We will review them tomorrow, but this should be in your notes. Okay, let's do some problems, examples. Number 1, 6 minus 2 raised to the 3rd power divided by 2. Now, We're going to start. Order of operations tells me to work in my grouping symbols first. Here are my grouping symbols on my parentheses. 6 minus 2 is 4. So I rewrite everything. 4 to the third divided by 2. Next step, I'm going to work on my exponents. 4 to the third is the same as 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64 divided by 2. And finally, my last step here is multiplication and division, but here I just have division. So my answer is 64 divided by 2 is 32. A few things to notice here. 1, everything is on its own line. Every step is written out carefully so it's easy to follow. Also, I'm not squishing it all together. And finally, there are no equal signs. These are expressions, not equations. These are expressions. We know it's an expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. And again, I circle my answer at the bottom. Number 2. Let's look at 2 to the 4th minus 1 divided by 5. So, step 1, we're going to look at our grouping symbols. Our grouping symbol here is the fraction bar. This is our grouping symbol. This is separating our numerator from our denominator and telling us that each piece needs to be worked separately. So let's start with our numerator. 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. And again, I write everything out. I take it one step at a time. I don't try and do too much at once. 2, again, because we're working on our grouping symbols, my subtraction has to come first because of working in the grouping symbol. So here, subtraction in the grouping symbol. So 16 minus 1 is 15. And I don't do anything to the denominator because there's nothing there, just a number. Finally, I can work with the last operation. Remember, a fraction bar also tells us to divide. So 15 divided by 5, that's my division. 15 divided by 5 is 3, my final answer. Let's do one more. Okay, number 3. Not to be confused with 3 that we just got our answer for. Let's look at 4 plus 3 to the 4th over 7 minus 2. So first things first, we start with our grouping symbols. Remember, the fraction bar is my grouping symbol here. So I'm going to first work on my numerator. 4 plus 3 to the 4th. Well, according to order of operations, I'm going to actually do this in blue for my numerator and write it all out. So my numerator is going to be blue. 4 plus 3 to the 4th, first thing I'm going to work on is my exponent. So I get 4 plus 3 to the 4th, so 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. And I still haven't done anything to my denominator. Second thing I'm going to do my addition. Because that's all that's left in my numerator. 4 plus 81 is 85. And that is all over 7 minus 2. Now, and I'm going to do my denominator in pink, I'm going to work on my denominator. So now step 3 is going to be subtraction, because that's all that's in my denominator. But again, the grouping, because of the fraction bar, tells me to do my numerator first and then my denominator. So I still have my 85 from before over 7 minus 2 is 5. And finally, my last step, because I'm doing it all together, let's do green. And step 4 is going to be division, because that's what my fraction bar tells me to do, to divide. 85 divided by 5 is 17. And that, my friends, is the final answer. I suggest you have all these problems written down in your notebook with the notes and anything else I've said. If you want, you could pause the video, rewind it, check and review what we did before. Make sure you have it in your notes. Pause it any time you want. I'm going to give you 3 problems to try on your own. We're going to call this one number 4. 5 times 2 to the second power divided by 2 plus 8. Number 5. Oh, before we go on to 5, something's going to pop up. You tell me what this expression equals. Number 5. 80 minus 4 minus 1 to the third power. Again, when the message pops up, go ahead, solve it, and put your answer in the box. Number 6. 2 times 7 plus 4 over 9 divided by 3. When the box pops up, put your answer in. Okay, ladies, I will check this all within the next few hours, probably more tomorrow morning. We'll go over all these notes tomorrow. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.